All right. Hello, everyone. I always
Hello.
forget to tell my new players that I can still see them while we're in the
Oh
loading screen.
no.
So
It's
very
all
nice
good.
dancing. I won't call you out, but very nice dancing. I appreciate it.
I was feeling the music.
Yeah, there you go. Honestly, like I said, I feel like that's a good way to get in the mood for the game. And now that we're here, this is the first session of Vampire the Masquerade, the Transylvania Chronicles, which is a old World of Darkness published adventure chronicle, whatever. Uh, just for all of the people out there who are old World of Darkness fans who might be familiar with this series of modules, I am not following it strictly because there's a lot of shit even in the first few pages of this module that I'm like absolutely fucking not. So, yeah, we will be making some changes because Old World of Darkness was very problematic, and we're not here for that. It's 2025. Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And with that, Alana, since you've been here a bunch of times, no pressure. Do you want to tell us who you are, where we can find you?
Hi, I'm Alana. This has been a while since I've done this, so I'm a little rusty.
Not been that
I'm
long.
also no, it has been a while. I am also known as Spectral Craft Dice online. You can find me on my social Spectral Craft Dice or at Spectral Craft Dice, and I also have a website spectralcraft.ca. I'm a dice maker. I'm an artist. I do illustrations for even photo games. Wow, my brain's not working.
Who needs brains?
And yeah, that's me.
Excellent. And we're gonna do this the way that I like to do it, popcorn style. So, tell us who you want to pick on to go next. Who are you gonna put the pressure on?
Oh, Chad.
Knew it. I am Chad. Chad8472 everywhere. If it's not on that platform, I do not exist there. A very unprofessional mod for a number of Twitch streamers. Been dabbling in TTRPGs for over a decade here and there, but of course, scheduling. It's all been just like 4 games, really.
Yeah, scheduling is the BBEG of all TTRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, the second time I've actually played in a vampire game.
Okay.
Third character made, because of course, one session just never got started.
Ugh.
And I'm in a continual state of will stream soon eventually. So
fair,
one day.
Fair. Yeah, so go follow his Twitch. Everybody's links are in the chat. Yeah. One day you'll stream. And if not, you're here. Or,
Yes. One day until
said,
day one.
Yeah, or as you said, modding for different people. So, yeah. Who are you going to popcorn to?
Ooh. Raven.
I am Raven. You can find me over on RavenTree7 on Twitch. I do a lot of different video games. I get stuck on games. I'm currently stuck on Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. This is technically my 5th character for a Vampire the Masquerade game. However, this is my first Old World Vampire. Most of my experience has been Modern World, so this will definitely be fun for me.
That's fair. I've only ever played in Modern Vampire or run Modern Vampire, so here we are. And last but not least, Valencia.
Hi, Valencia. On Twitch, I am Ultra Valencia. Everywhere else, I am Diva with a Handgun. That's kind of my brand, Diva with a Handgun. I'm an author, and my book is called The Unreality of Being Forgotten under Demeter Valencia Lopez. I stream on Twitch favorites. I like to play favorites. And right now I am obsessing over Metaphor Refantasio. So it's going to be that probably until I finish it, which is, it could be months. because it's a very long game. It's an Atlas game. If you know Atlas games, you know there's a lot of content. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
This is my first ever TTRPG. I'm a virgin here.
I really love whether it's first-time streamers, first-time TTRPG players, or both. Those are some of my favorites. I love being able to introduce people to new things and the world. So, you know, also, Valencia, congratulations on making affiliate. I know that was something you did.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
at the end of the
you.
year. So, you know,
Yeah.
go give them a follow. And I need to remember to add your book to your links. I just spaced on it. So please remind me. Not right now, because I will forget, but at some point.
You know, usually I'm a smart ass, and I'm like, remember to do this immediately after you tell me to remind you.
That's fair. That's fair. I figured. That's why I was like, not now. Yeah, so before we get into anything, do want to give a couple of just quick statements. So the first is, this is Vampire the Masquerade. If you know anything about Vampire the Masquerade, or vampires in general, that's usually pretty violent unless it's Twilight, and a few other things. But there is a significant possibility for a lot of violence, possibly some gore. We'll be a little careful with that because, you know, we want our players to be safe. But yeah, this could be a tough stream for some people. Might not be everyone's cup of tea, and if not, that's okay. I'll also be streaming some other games. You know, sometimes we'll be old ladies solving murder mysteries, or, you know, just gay people in general doing gay things, like you do. But yeah, so if at any point the stream gets to be too much, and my players already know, we talked about our safety tools, but for you all at home watching, if it gets to be too much, I won't be offended if you just turn it off and you step away. That's fine. Not everybody's going to be into this. We want you to be safe. And with that, the last thing that I need to talk about before I yap some more, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm a storyteller. I'm here to talk, is the land acknowledgement. And if anyone else, I should have said before, has the knowledge of whose lands they live on, you're more than welcome to give your own land acknowledgement, but it's not required. For me personally, I live on the traditional and unceded lands of the Neo-Casca, Kaskaskia, Ochehi Sakoan, and Kekapoa people, and support land back, because, you know what? As I said, this was unceded. They were forced off of these lands violently, and I'm happy to be here, but I'm also happy to get the land back. So you can go to, oh damn it, I didn't put it in my notes.
I know, nativeland.ca.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's
I
mine.
need to put that in my notes. Yeah, and you can find that out worldwide. There are Native people in a lot of areas of the world who have been forced out of their traditional lands, including Transylvania. That's just unfortunately a part of it. But with that, let's get into the game. And Valencia, I'm going to pick on you this time. Tell us a little bit about what Demetrian would be doing tonight.
Okay. So Demetrian tonight, like most nights, is at a tavern. Singing and playing, performing. They are a bard. So they are performing for the crowd of drunk and disorderly people and loving every second of it.
Okay. And what kind of performance do you give?
Instead of like normal bards, like observational stuff, they're more introspective. They do a lot of introspective lyrics because they're always all up in their head, and so they're so their stuff gets it's deep, but it gets passed over as not really because everyone's too drunk to care, and they're just enjoying the singing voice and the lute and the pretty face,
Okay.
and that's
And
how I like it.
and speaking of pretty faces, why don't you tell us a little bit about their pretty face? What does Demetrian look like, and what clan do they belong to?
All right. Let's see if I remember how I describe this person. Do I have my sheet on me? Can I find that? Where do I find that?
If you have your demiplane pulled up, it should be like right under your character name, I believe. I don't have demiplane pulled up again.
I have mine pulled up,
even
but I
though
can't
Anna
find
mentioned
it.
I closed it because I'm professional.
Professional? What's that?
Yeah, never heard of it.
Okay, concept and lore.
It should
Character
be if
details.
you're on like the character sheet itself, then
Okay,
it'll be
I got it.
all on that first page.
So, what was the question again?
It was a few questions, so I had to remind myself what they were. First of all, what does Demetrian look like? Like, how do they dress? What is their just general appearance?
So Demetrian has long, thick, pale blonde hair that appears white often. They have almond eyes that are upturned at the outer edge, bright green in color, small, slightly rounded nose, full Cupid's bow, lips, elegant, sharp jawline. They are tall with a medium build, muscular but not bulky. Long, thin fingers on delicate-looking hands, which are quite deceiving, as they're not delicate at all because they can legit rip you to pieces.
I'm into it.
They also have a black freckle under the tear line of the right eye and a scar over their left eye through their mid-eyebrow.
Okay. Honestly, that was a lot more than I was expecting. I'm not mad about it, but I'm here for it. And what clan does Demetrian belong to?
They are a Bruja.
Bruja. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Bruja are one that I don't still know how I feel about, because that is definitely a thing that exists in real life, minus the H. It is a culturally specific thing, so I feel some type of way about it.
It's why I kind of went with it too, because it's part of my culture as a Puerto Rican. We have those. So
Exactly. That was part of why I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna say anything because that is your choice.
yeah.
But yeah, I do like the Bruja. I think that they're a fun clan just in general, aside from all that stuff. Just very like rebellious and breaking a lot of traditions. I think that's fun. That's usually who I get whenever I've done the character, which clan are you tests. So I'm a little partial to them. But yeah, so as you are performing, we're going to cut over to Chad. Antonio. What would Antonio be up to tonight?
So Antonio, like most nights, is out in more than one sense of the word, prowling. Just whatever social circles are going on, usually ends up at this one for a good amount of time. Is a fan of the performances here and spends a lot of time just mingling. They have short, well-maintained hair, both on their head and on their face. A bit on the tall side. No definite remarkable features. Like you wouldn't be able to say, hey, that person with said thing. But generally acknowledged as an attractive person. And of course, in a very elegant, but not too opulent outfit.
I'm here for it. And what clan does Antonio belong to?
Antonio belongs to the Malkavians.
Which is another clan that I do feel some type of way about as a mental health professional. We will get into that later, though, because it's not currently a problem at this point in the World of Darkness. So did we say that Antonio and Demetrian are at the same tavern?
Yes.
Excellent. So while the two of you are doing different things, you're not together. You're not really even interacting necessarily. Both of you are approached by different individuals who are very well dressed. Each of them hands you a just plain sheet of parchment rolled up with a wax seal on it. And additionally, a letter with gilded edges. It looks very ornate. It has a partial wax seal on it. But we'll get to that in a minute because we got a couple other people to introduce. Alana, you want to tell us a little bit about Cassian and what they would be up to?
Cassian is currently being dragged around by their sire. I forgot to name the sire.
How
I'm
dare.
not gonna-
Tell me a little bit about the sire.
Their sire knows their real name, first off. And they use that against them a lot. They have a little nickname for them that they use called Little
Okay.
Raven. And it's a reminder that they know their real name. And it's when they're pissed off, like just a little, like when a parent's pissed off and uses their real name kind of thing. It's kind of like that.
That's never happened to me.
Full naming someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, happened to me a lot.
Not just full naming, but real naming.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's not the same context, but it's almost like dead naming, but in a less hurtful context, more in a it's a clan. Yeah, it's a clan issue.
Yeah.
So it's hurtful in its own way, but not the same kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Undead naming.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? If you are okay with it, I have a name that you can use for your sire. Their name is Isabella Petri.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah. And did you tell us what Cassian looks like?
Not yet. I was getting to that. Their Cassian, it's kind of a little bit more wild looking. Their hair is like a curly mass that is done in various braids. They have a more of an open top, which would not be very acceptable in this time. Their hair is actually dyed black. Their hair is naturally red, and so you can see at the roots there's like a little bit of red coming through, and they have emerald green eyes, and they have tattoos that are featured on their shoulders that they're Celtic tattoos, and they're of ravens. One's a white raven and one's a black raven, and they kind of go down into the shirt line.
I'm here for it. And what clan does Cassian belong to?
Cassian belongs to, let me make sure I'm saying this right, Ravnos.
Yeah. It's funny, and this is not a commentary on any of the players. It's just a commentary on Vampire. Ravnos are also problematic because they are based heavily on Romani people. And yeah, I'm glad that this current edition has made a lot of positive changes and has sort of separated that a little bit. And we are not going to be falling into those, especially because you have taken the alternate clan Bane. Yeah, so just a lot of things. I love Vampire, but I will constantly call it out for all of its bullshit. And I hope that the makers see this because, they need to know that they're not doing the right thing and do better because it's 2025 again. Yeah. And Cassian has some friends, right? Maybe non-human friends, non-kindred friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everywhere Cassian goes, there is a strange number of ravens that are hanging around, just outside and about. And you'll often see Cassian talking to a white raven, an albino raven.
Did you name the raven?
No, I have not. Oh, wait. I do have another.
I feel
have
like
a
you
name.
did, but I don't remember what it is.
I think I have a couple good old-fashioned Celtic names. It's like Vecna. It's spelt really weird.
Did you say Vecna?
Yeah, it's like Vecna, but it's Fechna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And it's I'm not sure which Gaelic, but it's one of the Gaelics. Gaeliga or otherwise.
Yeah, there's a lot of Celtic languages and tribes that unfortunately I don't know enough about, just because there's so much to learn and so much that we don't know still. And speaking of ravens, Raven.
Jason is honestly a fairly innocent looking 18, 19-year-old male. He's got a short, like somewhat slick, but like a naturally slicked back black hair with what looks like a white lightning bolt on the left side of his skull, with like in the hair. Wears fairly light leather armor with some dark gray fur, and he's just kind of just unassuming.
Okay. And what would he be doing?
Just in a tavern somewhere, just nursing a ale, just kind of getting
Nursing an ale?
and or mead,
Well,
whatever it is.
no, it's not about that.
No, he looks like he's nursing it, but he's just using it as that's what I mean by that. It's like he's has one with him, just so it doesn't look like he's just sitting in the corner watching the room.
Yeah, you don't want to be a total creep. Just
not a total creep, just a slight creep.
Blending in.
And for those of you who don't know, if you are unfamiliar with Vampire the Masquerade, Kindred, which is what we call the vampires in this game, are unable to eat or drink mortal food and drink. They forcefully regurgitate it. I believe what we do in the Shadows is the same way, and several other vampire media. You know, it didn't just come from out of nowhere. And that's why I ask. I just wanted to see if I could cause problems already 20 minutes in. Because that's what I'm here for, is to cause problems. So,
fair.
Cassian and Jason, you also receive the same, it's not the same people, but very well-dressed messengers come up with the same kind of plain scroll and very gilded invitation. So, we'll come back to Dimitri M. What are you doing as you receive this?
I just finished my I was retiring for the night, about to start stalking someone when I get stopped by this mysterious person and they hand me this paper and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I look at them straight in the face. I can't tell what their face looks like really, but I'm just looking at the paper in my hand, confused, and look back up and they're gone. And I'm like, great, another vanisher. Fantastic.
And do you do anything with either the scroll or the letter?
I put it in my satchel. So I don't want to deal with it right now because it seems pretty loaded. And I'm getting off the high of performing and I need to feed. So.
Fair. Actually, speaking of, why don't you do me the honor of being our first roll of the game? So in Demiplane, if you go down to the bottom left corner, there's a little dice symbol. If you click on that, and there should be a thing that says hunger. Also, just saying, if anybody from Demiplane is watching, I know that they do frequently sponsor people. I'm willing to shill for you. So, I love Demiplane, and that is just me saying that because I really do love them. So let me love you for money.
Isn't that just what we call sugar daddies and sugar mommies?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so
Glucose Guardians.
There we go.
So what am I? I hit roll. It looks like a 1.
Yeah, so you should have one. Did it give you a success or a failure when you rolled?
0 success.
Okay, so you are hungry. You are going to be at 2 points of hunger. So on your character sheet, of course, mine's not loading properly. There should be a thing for hunger if you just want to click 2 of those boxes. And then that will automatically, when you go to roll, it will include the hunger in your rolls. And that's one of the reasons I love Demiplane, is you don't have to think about it. It just does it.
Okay.
It just makes vampire so much easier. It's not a horribly complicated game, but there's enough to remember. It can be overwhelming sometimes. So, yeah, you as you woke for the night. So what I was doing is having you make what's called a rouse the blood check, or I always giggle because I'm super mature. Because usually on these streams they say make a rouse check, and I always think an arouse check. Like, yeah, like I said, super mature. But yeah, so as you awaken, you are a little hangry.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, so like you said, looking probably for someone to feed. We will come back to that in just a moment. Antonio,
Yes.
as you receive your messenger, this letter and scroll, what are you doing?
I thank them for the gift and I place it somewhere safe until I can read it in private.
Okay. Makes sense. And I would like you to make the same roll, please.
Now, I was looking for what you were describing.
Mhm.
Where am I finding that?
So if you are on your character sheet in Demiplane,
Yes.
just the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little D10.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
Yep. It's honestly easy to miss. Unless you know it's there, it's very easy to miss. So just click on the hunger, and it should just be a single dice roll. Let me know if you get a success or a failure.
It says 0 successes.
Okay, that is a failure then. Antonio's also a little hangry tonight. Both of you, when you went to awaken. So let me back up a little bit. For especially our newer players or people who may be watching and maybe unfamiliar with how this game works, because you all are undead. You are living corpses. Every day while you slumber, you are a corpse. You are essentially dead. You don't dream most of the time, with some exceptions. And when you go to waken, you have to rouse the blood. You have to physically force your blood to at least move a little bit so that you can move your body about. And so all of you, unless you make the conscious effort, do not breathe. Like I said earlier, you cannot eat or drink other than blood. And so it takes a little bit of effort to appear human. You all are just a little strange. And I say that with love.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so Antonio, you said you're also going to take just a little bit of time, not read it right away. So we will go over to Jason. Jason, what do you do as you receive the same message?
As I am reaching for the letter, I will try like scan the guy. Do I recognize him or anything?
He does not look familiar, but like I said, very well dressed. Seems like someone who maybe he's not important himself, but probably works for someone a little bit important.
You said it had like a seal on it. Does it have any markings?
Yes, so both of them have a wax seal. The scroll has a more detailed one. The letter has a partial. It looks like they didn't quite, press their signet onto it hard enough. The letter. Hold on. You said you're which clan again?
Gangrel.
That's right, Gangrel. Let's see. What do you have? Yeah. I would say that you see on yours the one that you can make out very clearly. The other one, you're not sure. It's just vague enough. You're like it's something. You can tell they made an effort, but you can't tell without opening the letter. The scroll, there is what appears to be like a winged creature of some sort. It has two heads on it, and its wings are outspread. And if you wanted to see if you know more about it, you could roll for it.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll do a roll.
I would say give me intelligence and probably academics.
Academics.
Or occult. I would say occult if you have anything in it.
I don't have. I do have one in occult.
Okay.
Laptop, please load. What are you? Demi plane, you good there? Okay. You said intelligence in occult?
Yes.
Okay. I got one success.
You're really not sure. You think you've seen this symbol before, but you couldn't tell who it belongs to. You know, obviously, being a signet on a wax seal, it's somebody with some money, some power, someone of importance, but you're not sure who.
Okay. I'll just take them and give the guy a chance to walk away, and then I'll slink out of the bar and find a dark alley to open them up in.
So he does not walk away. Neither does Antonio's messenger. So both of you, this person is still standing there, just staring right at you.
I just kind of stare back at him expectantly.
Yeah, as you stare back, just waits very patiently. Antonio, what about you?
I look around to see if there's anyone else that would see either of us.
Raven, did you say that you were in the same tavern as our two bards, or were you somewhere else?
I mean, we can, but I just said he's just in a bar or something.
Okay. No, I think that because all of you know of each other, you may not know each other super well. I think probably our two bards are the ones who actually have had the most face-to-face interaction, even if it's just like, hey, as you walk past. But you know, it's more than some of you have had. Yeah. So, no, there's no one who seems to really care. Everyone else seems to be focused on just hanging out, you know, drinking, having a good time, telling stories, people singing and dancing. They really don't care about this messenger.
Okay. Then I will retrieve it from wherever I stole it and open it, read it.
Okay. What is your sire's name, Antonio? Do you have a name?
I don't believe I came up with one that I can remember.
Do you want to come up with one, or do you want me to come up with one?
If you have one, I will accept that.
Sure. Let's go Male, female, non-binary, somewhere in between.
Any.
Okay. Let's go Tudor, Tudor, Rusu, Rusu. And he writes to you, my child. It is my wish that you join me at the market square, close by the stocks in the castle district of Budapest. There, you shall be introduced to an ally of mine who wishes to become your patron. Your future might be assured should you agree to this patron's offer. Furthermore, it would please me greatly for you to accept, as I have already accepted for you, pending your agreement. Typical sire. Like, I already told him you're going to say yes, so you should do it.
Yeah.
The bearer of this letter is a trusted servant and will arrange transportation for you. And it's signed, Tudor.
Okay. I now place it away again in an even safer location and gesture to them that I will follow if they lead.
Okay. And they lead you to a covered wagon. As you enter this wagon, you can tell it is specifically prepared for Kindred, so that you're a ways from Budapest. It's not a easy drive, I guess.
Not the
so to
next
speak.
town over.
Yeah. It's going to be a couple of days before you can get there, and you would know you're very, very susceptible to sunlight. And even if you could be safe from the sunlight, you're very susceptible to mortals who are out and about during the day. This has very reinforced window coverings. You can tell that it is designed to keep you safe, and because this was a letter from your sire, you're pretty confident that this is legit. You've probably gotten other letters from him.
So yeah.
It's either that or a really, really good forgery, but you're pretty sure it's not. And as you enter, you do still have the letter unopened.
Yes.
Do you open that, or are you waiting?
I mean, was there more than what was already?
Oh, so there were the two. There was the scroll that you read,
Oh.
and the letter, the gilded letter.
I will wait until I am within the carriage to read that.
Yeah, and the servant, like I said, leads you to this covered wagon. The servant takes off. They're the one who is driving this cart with you in it. And as you are inside and alone, you read, "Though I am unacquainted with you, I feel that we share a bond through your sire, who is my ally. As you are the dutiful childer, I request that you meet with me at the market square near the stocks in Castle District of Budapest on the 15th day of April of this year at the 10th hour of the night. I would like to put before you a proposition that may lead to great gains for you and your allies. If you wish to hear more, attend me on this date specified." And it's unsigned.
Okay.
And with that, we're going to cut over to Cassian, because Lenny, you've not gotten to do anything in a little bit. Cassian, as you receive this scroll and letter, do you open them?
Yeah, I'd probably be curious and open it.
Yep.
But first, is this a human person, not
Yes.
vampire?
Well, okay. They appear to be human.
Okay.
You can investigate if you would like.
Sure. I don't know if I'm very good at investigation, but I'll
Well,
try.
It wouldn't necessarily be investigation. It would be intelligence and occult, or I would say even possibly wits and awareness.
What did I put? I got not very intelligent, not very much wits. Okay. I'll do it anyway because they would be curious.
Go for it.
Okay.
What's the worst that could happen?
Dice pool.
What?
Shoot. Let me figure out how this works. Clear. There we go. go with whips because it's a little bit better.
You know, sometimes it's what you got to do.
Okay. Why won't it add it?
Sometimes Demiplane is a little wonky like that. It always tries to fight me.
There, I'll just do 2 dice. There we go. 1 success.
1 success?
Yeah.
You're pretty sure that this is a human.
Okay. I'll ask them how they... Oh.
Well, I was going to say, first, give me just a single dice roll for your
Okay.
hunger.
Hunger. 0 successes.
Everyone's a little hangry tonight. No one's having a great time.
I don't think I ever did my rouse check.
Yeah, it's okay. We were going to get to that in just a second. I did forget, but
that's perfect because I'm always looking for those that are dying.
Yeah. Just so you know, the messenger does not look like they're about to die. They look very, very hearty and healthy. and I
ask them.
Go ahead.
I ask them how they're feeling.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Oh, very well, thank you.
Okay, but that's all. That's all.
Are you going to open?
Yes.
They're like looking over.
Do you always stare at people?
Yes, that's my job.
Okay. Just open the letter, read it.
Yeah. So your letter reads the exact same, other than the sire's name is different. There may be some slight variations in the wording, but the message is the same.
They're always here. Why do they bother sending me a letter?
Because they've told you they don't want to talk to you. Also, they're in Budapest.
Oh, okay.
Or will
Fair
be
enough. They're leaving ahead of me.
Yeah. They made sure to leave
me.
ahead of you.
Perfect.
Like, Cassian needs to get out a little bit more. They've just been talking to the Ravens for the last month. Just go. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to a whole other country because you are in Romania. Budapest is not.
Alrighty. I'll do what my sire says.
Yeah. Do you also open the letter or just the scroll?
Oh, I will look at the scroll as well.
Yeah. So again, it reads the same. It is unsigned, and it basically says the same thing as the scroll. But this seems to be basically confirming not only what your sire said, but like someone of some importance is interested. You don't know why. I think and I don't mean this in a bad way because I'm sure Cassian is a fine kindred, but of the 4 of you, Cassian is probably the least logical to just be like, why should this kindred be selected by someone fancy? But
that's
nonetheless, here we are.
Cassian just flips the scroll over, like, who doesn't sign letters?
The messenger, wow, words are hard. The messenger just sort of chuckles and says, are you ready?
Yes. Should I be? Wait, I need to get my entourage.
Your entourage.
My friends.
This was an invitation for one.
But the Ravens come with me.
Well, they can't go in the carriage.
They'll just be around.
Oh, so if they're just going to be around, then it's fine. You're good, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't need to get your entourage.
But yeah, I suppose they'll just follow me.
Just like you can tell that he's probably fucking with you a little bit, and probably was told to do so by your sire.
Of course. Just crumples the letter and kind of like.
Good times. And Jason, you said you were trying to sneak off though, right?
I was, but
Mhm.
like I was gonna wait until he left, but he said he was just standing there staring at me, so I'm just
Mhm.
kind of staring back at him, just kind of like, what do you want? You, because he's treating it like he's just a messenger handing him something.
Right. Well, I would like for you to open it and to give me an answer.
I get. He just kind of gives him a, I guess, looking at goes straight, like starts to open up the scroll to read it.
Yeah. So it is the same thing. It is not your sire necessarily, but it is someone who seems to know you. Dimitrian, yours is not signed your sire's name because you don't know who your sire is. But I think you at least recognize the name. You've at least heard of this kindred. Actually, you know what? I think it is probably Isabella, which is Cassian's sire.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know Cassian. You've seen them around. You haven't necessarily talked to them, but
Strange person. Strange, unkempt, interesting.
Kind of looks like
Always
a pirate.
talking to birds.
yeah,
Crouched down sometimes. It's like I'm prowling and I'm kind of in the middle of stalking someone. I look slightly to my left and there's Cassian just kind of there. And I'm like, okay. Hope they're doing all right.
Cassian.
then
When
go
this
back.
has happened, how do you respond typically whenever you see them noticing you?
I'd probably freeze like a bird and kind of just stare.
It's just that like deer
Yeah.
in the headlights, like, oh no. I love that.
It's kind of like
Yeah, I love
Awkward
that.
wave.
Yeah, Cassian just like does the same thing back, but much less gracefully, much less confidently. So Jason, yeah, the messenger, like I said, lets you know that he is waiting for you to read it and get a response. And so yeah, you have this scroll that is inviting you to Budapest. And are you also opening the letter?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing. Unsigned, but very ornate, very obviously someone with money and power.
Do I recognize the name on the scroll?
How well do you know your sire?
Fairly well. He's my mala.
Oh, okay. That duh. Did you choose a name for your sire?
Yes, Aaron.
Okay. It is Aaron.
Okay. Then yeah, just get up and just follow him then.
Okay. And same thing. So, as Jason, you follow this messenger. Cassian, you said you were doing the same. Demetrian, were you following the messenger, or are you still? No, you still haven't opened yours, have you?
No, I haven't opened mine. The messengers kind of vanished because they're not with me because I don't have.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of there, like you said, coming down from the high of performing, and you realize there's someone behind you.
Yeah. So I turn around and I see. What am I seeing?
As you turn around, are you sitting or standing?
I'm standing.
Yeah. So you are face to face with this messenger.
Okay.
Clearly the same one you saw before.
So then at this point I'm like, are you fucking with me? Didn't I just see you poof out of existence?
I was just waiting.
Waiting for what exactly?
You to read and accept or deny.
How do you know I can read?
I don't.
No, so now you're just being presumptuous.
To be fair, 'twas not I who presumed. I did not write either of these.
Okay, well, who did?
You would have to open them to find out.
You can't give me a hint first?
I have not read either of them. They are very clearly sealed.
All right, fine. Even though you should have seen who gave them to you to give to me. Fine.
Anyone of importance does not just hand a messenger something like this.
Oh, fancy types, right. I get
Mhm.
it. Hand to a hand to a hand to a hand to a hand before it gets to the person.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
Whatever. Okay.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
All right, I'll open the scroll.
So like I said, you see the one that is for everyone else from their sire is written from Isabella, who you would know. Even though you don't really know Cassian very well, you would know to be Cassian's sire, because sires are usually a little bit more important. It is, at this point in time, we are in the early 1190s. It is the Dark Ages. There is not yet a true masquerade, which is part of the name of the game, which is the essentially protection that Kindred enforce on each other. Kindred society helps to maintain the masquerade, which is what prevents mortals from hunting you all down and killing you. Because if you keep up the masquerade that you are just mortal beings, just like everyone else, they have no reason to come after you. But if the peasants, the royalty, were to know that Kindred were out there, were stalking the night, were feeding upon the people. Of course, there are legends, but those are just obviously rustic people, their folk ways. It's nothing, especially someone in the city would never believe that. It's silly superstition, right? There's no such thing as vampires. And that's what keeps you safe. But despite that, you would still know the sires because Kindred Society enforces very strict rules on creating childer, which is what all of you are. You all were sired. You are now their children, essentially, by blood. And if someone were, like if one of you were to create another kindred without getting permission, you would likely be put under a blood hunt. Other kindred would hunt you down to kill you. So, sires are usually a little bit well known.
Okay.
And the messenger just continues standing over you.
Do you mind giving me some privacy while I read this?
I'm supposed to wait.
Can I turn around at least? Or
You
can
can.
you turn around?
You turn around, and he just continues. Like, you can feel him staring at the back of your head.
Eyes literally burning through the back of my skull. Okay, so I read the scroll. I vaguely recognize the name. And I'm like, oh, okay. Why me?
I don't know.
Wait, that's that strange one, sire, right?
I don't know what you mean.
You know, the one that's always talking to birds.
Oh, I know who you refer to, but sire, I don't think they're related.
Fine. I'm hungry. I'm a little cranky. So I'm just gonna play along. Let's play along. It's all a performance anyway, isn't it?
Whatever you say.
All right, so what's this other thing? Some sort of letter thing?
Yeah, so the letter Again, unsigned. You are not sure who sent it, but it is clearly someone a lot higher up the food chain, so to speak.
Okay. So I open it and it reads the same.
Yes. Both the scroll and the letter are more or less the same. Different wording, different. The location's the same, the date's the same, all that, but just different language slightly.
Okay. All right. So we're not sure where this one came from either. I'm just expected to go to these places and meet these people.
I received both of them at the same time. Delivered both at the same time. That's all I know. They don't tell us.
You're giving me nothing to work with here.
You know, I could say the same. I was told to come here and wait for your response, and I've been waiting. Do you have a response?
1 second. Okay, I guess let's do the thing.
Absolutely, let's do the thing. And lead you outside to the same kind of covered wagon. You all are not together. You all are in separate carriages, but they're all virtually identical. And so several days and nights pass as you all travel on your way to Budapest. Jason, we're going to start with you. You were the first to arrive, and because I missed it earlier, can you please give me a rouse check?
I did it earlier. Hold on to it. I failed.
Everyone's hangry.
So hangry.
Yeah. And to make matters worse, you have not had the opportunity to feed. So all of you have 2 points of hunger and are kind of verging on that third one at this point. It's been several days. You were able to mostly be inactive and just wait it out. But nonetheless, all a little on edge, all a little hangry. If you could eat a Snickers, you all would want a Snickers, right? But it'll be, I don't know, 1,000 or so years before they, not quite 1,000, but close, years before they're invented. So, yeah. With that, Jason, you arrive at the gates of Budapest. It is early in the evening, but dark enough that you can go out safely. You can hear the guard at the doors calling for anyone to come through before they close the gates for the night. Are you leaving your carriage or are you doing something else? What are you doing?
Is the carriage still going in, or is it dropping me off outside?
The carriage is not going in.
And then, yeah, I'll get out and head inside, I guess.
Okay. As you leave this carriage, you do notice 3 other virtually identical carriages. And I'll ask the rest of you. As your carriages come to a stop, the messengers let you know that you have arrived at Budapest. What are all of you doing?
I get out and I get on top of the carriage just so I can get a good scope of the area.
Yeah. Getting a better view. I won't make you roll for it because it's not like you're under any pressure necessarily. As I mentioned, you see 3 other virtually identical carriages. You see that the messengers, because you are a little bit higher up, are all dressed very similarly. Not identical, but clearly working for the same people, you would imagine. Additionally, you can see a little bit into the gate. You are on the Pest side, so at this point in time, where the name Budapest came from, is Buda is on the other side. Pest is on the side you are currently. Pest is a little bit more of the working class, so to speak, and directly inside of the gates, you see there is a bustling market.
Looks like fun times. So I hop off and I start to walk. Are the messengers stopping me at all?
No, the messengers don't stop you. They seem to just be waiting on the carriages because they have stopped. They do not appear to have any desire to go inside. Not that they couldn't necessarily, but they don't seem to have any reason to. This is as far as they were taking you.
Okay. So yeah, I make my way. I turn around to make sure that they're not following me, see them go, and turn back around.
And as you turn around, you do see from one of the other carriages, Jason, what are you dressed like currently?
Honestly, just kind of like light armor, light leather armor with a little bit of dark gray fur around the collar. Nothing like major, just unassuming because he's usually on foot, travels by foot a lot. So he just looks like a unassuming rookie mercenary.
I don't know that I would ever really call a mercenary unassuming, but as much as you can be given the...
Yeah.
So, Demetrian, this is what you see as this person exits. And Cassian and Antonio, are you leaving?
Yeah, I would leave. And there'd be ravens on all of the everything. On everything.
As soon as I adjust myself and make sure I look presentable, I will step out of the carriage.
Of course. Gotta look good.
First impression is very important.
Yeah, so Demetrian, you and Jason both, you are already out. You've already clocked each other. And you see that from these other two carriages, you would definitely recognize Demetrian, Cassian, especially since you probably have been, if not ruminating, at least it's in the back of your mind that their sire is the one who summoned you.
Sorry, my brain.
What?
My brain just blanked. So
Yeah. I mean, you're just in character. Cassian doesn't know what to do.
I look over, I see Jason, I'm like, someone's a little overdressed. And then I notice all the ravens, I'm like, okay. Here we go. Turn around and I see Cassian, he's like, bird person.
And Antonio's there as well.
And I look over and I'm like, oh, it's the other bard. What are you doing here? Cutting in on my business?
Does Antonio stay silent? And
I think for the moment he's still in the new light, making sure he looks fine. What was that?
Nothing.
Oh, good.
Nothing. I'm just gonna head in and get lost.
What about the rest of you?
I've after I clocked all of them, everything, I just started heading in. Didn't really pay much mind to the comments or anything. Just kept going.
I will just say, as I mentioned, the carriages and the messengers all seem to be related. You can assume it's pretty likely you're all there for the same reason. Cassian, would you do anything after you have your mild panic?
Cassian would be watching, enthralled with the conversation, and just being like, "Oh, I guess this is how people converse," or something along those lines. They did, in fact, change their outfit a little bit because they knew Isabella would be pretty pissed at them if they didn't try to appear normal. So they did dress up a little bit. Maybe added furs for their shoulders, and they wear pants because they don't really
Yeah.
Like dresses, and they're kind of like aesthetic is pirate. Yeah.
I can't imagine why they would have such an aesthetic.
No idea. No idea.
Total mystery.
Nope.
So Cassian, you see that Demetrian and Jason have already started to go in. Antonio, are you headed in as well after you have your slight interaction with?
I am. I take a look around the Pesh side just to see what that looks like.
Mhm.
Kind of linger on and try to pick out something, see if anything stands out to me. Would I know how long I have until the meeting that was mentioned in the letter?
So it gave you a very specific date, very specific time. You would know it is that date currently. It is April 15th. It is probably an hour or so before you're supposed to be there.
Then after getting a look around, I reluctantly enter the Buddha side.
Well, the Buddha side is on the other side of the river.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, then I
No,
will
you're
enter.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pesht is on this side.
Yeah. I will enter through the gates to the main.
Perfect. Yeah. So everyone sort of starts to make their way in, except for Cassian, who sort of takes a moment to just observe everyone. And Cassian, as you are doing so, you see the guard just kind of shrug and is like, all right, closing it up.
I run off and sort of and the ravens are just following along above.
Like squeeze through as they're closing the door. I love that. Would any of you try to talk to each other other than the interactions you've had so far? Especially Cassian, because you know that you probably need to talk to other people.
I might do like one of those like, hey, excuse me. Like trying to get
yelling
attention,
to the other
but-
three.
You seem to be going the same way that I'm going. I'm told I need to talk more to people. So, can we go this way together?
That was a good start. You may follow me if you wish.
I don't know any of you really, and I'm just walking. If you're behind me, then you're behind me.
Fair. That's fair assessment. I'll just follow along.
So, Demetrian and Jason, the two of you have sort of taken the lead here. Maybe not super close to each other, but more or less at the same pace. Making your way along, Antonio slightly behind Cassian, maybe even a little bit behind him. Just being there, they're observing, learning how to be a people. And it is very bustling. Even though it is fairly late, the market is busy. But the four of you are able to stay close enough together, whether it's on purpose or not. You're all going to the same place. It's not hard to stay fairly close. But the two of you in the lead clock before anyone else. Someone running, which is not usual. Normally people aren't going to be running, especially because this seems to be at least a young adult. Maybe not like a mature adult, but maybe 19, 20-year-old woman running through the market. And then you hear a short while after, "Stop, thief."
I don't. I just let her keep running.
Mm.
Antonio and Cassian.
About how far away is she?
Maybe 50 feet whenever you first hear this. Isn't necessarily running towards you, but is running more or less in your direction.
Can I interfere with the guard to like trip him up or something?
Absolutely. Are you going to try and physically trip them, or are you just going to try and delay them?
physically trip.
Okay. Please give me a strength and brawl roll.
Okay, so my strength is 4, and brawl is 3.
Oh, fantastic. Let me know what you get.
How do I just like regular roll or?
Yeah. So it'll once you've clicked on each of those, it will pop up
Okay.
down on the bottom, and it should say strength
Right.
plus brawl, and then you just click roll.
Hold on. Strength plus brawl and success 5.
Damn. Yeah.
Nice.
So you trip this guard so well that he doesn't realize who tripped him.
Teehee.
So you just sort of subtly stick your foot out. He catches on it, falls face first into a pile of manure, and is furious, looking around, like cleaning the shit off of his face, looking for who did that, screaming, "Who did that? Who did that?" Drawing his short sword, and no one seems to be confessing. No one seems to be pointing out who did it, because no one's really sure who did it. They know it wasn't them.
I just laugh and keep walking, hoping for the best for the supposed thief.
Elena, you look like you want to say something.
Yep. So Cassian immediately looks up to where the ravens are and goes, "Which one of you did it?"
Cassian, as you're looking up at the ravens, you notice this woman darts down an alley before getting quite to where you are. Demetrian was a little bit ahead, like I said. So she sort of darts past the first two and then down this alleyway.
I'll follow.
Okay. As you do, you see she is just sort of hiding fairly well, but you're a little more attuned maybe than other people. You can't see in the dark, but you do have a little bit more of an awareness.
Oh, but I can.
That's true. That's true. I forgot. So yeah, you especially are just like, oh, yeah, I see where she's hiding. Do you approach?
I kind of cock my head to the side and go, "Are you trying to hide?"
Shut up.
You're not hiding very well.
Also, Cassian, you're pretty sure that she is well hidden. You can just see in the dark. Just FYI. She's like, what do you mean I'm not hiding? There's no way. If you would stop talking, if you would stop being here, no one would know.
I backway. I'll just leave. It's fine.
Are the guards still out there?
Oh yes, and very angry.
Great. And the rest of you, are you doing anything else, or are you just continuing on?
I just kind of laughed at the guard falling into shit, and then just kept going.
Antonio?
I'd follow near where they ducked in, just to be in between that entrance and anyone around.
Yeah. You can see that Cassian seems to be talking to someone. You can hear the other person like loudly whispering, but you can't quite see them.
With my back to them, so I could still see if anyone's approaching, I'll sort of just turn and be like, "Did my new friend find a new friend?"
I did indeed.
I wouldn't call us friends, but
Acquaintance, then.
that's stretching it a bit.
Every
A
friend starts as a
passerby?
stranger.
What'd you say, Chad?
Every friend starts as a stranger.
It's a
Mm, yeah. I suppose you did help get away from that guard, even if they're still out there. My name is Shizura. Thank you. I appreciate the assistance.
Anytime.
Are you just gonna stand there all night, or
I was just gonna ask you, how are you feeling today?
well, I've been better. You know, being chased by guards, accused of things I didn't do.
I mean, wellness. Like, what?
Cassie, give me an intelligence and medicine roll.
Oh dear.
I love that this is your predator type, and it's a thing that you're bad at. It honestly makes it really fun.
Yeah. I think I meant to put in medicine, but I forgot to change it back. Oops. Oh well. That's okay. I've got 0 successes. I'm just gonna be starving.
Yeah, you know, you can't really tell, but you think maybe it is just the hunger. You know, that you're maybe just a little distracted. Maybe a little desperate, like I don't really care that much.
Pretty peckish.
Not sick.
Then it'd be bad. I've tried that before. It didn't go well.
Are you trying to feed?
I am very hungry, so I would be interested in feeding for sure.
Okay. Let me look. You what is your predator type again? I forget the name.
Let me double check. Prey exclusion. Okay, wait. I'm specifically I like to hunt people who are dying, I believe.
So on Demiplane, under your name, it will have your clan, your age, and then your
Grim Reaper, sorry. Grim Reaper.
Okay. That's what I thought. I didn't want to say the wrong thing though. Let me look, because I don't remember what the Grim Reaper actually, because you're not doing your normal. How do you want to try and feed? Do you want to try and do the thing you're so good at and talk to her and maybe gain her confidence, or do you want to just go force?
I probably wouldn't feel comfortable with force.
Or
kind of like or talking. I'd probably not do it then, to be honest.
I again mean this in no negative way. It's just funny. It's a wonder how Cassian feeds at all. Other than the fact that they do feed on sick people or people who are near death. So like maybe sometimes you're just like, okay, this person's definitely dying.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're bleeding out. Yeah, I'm gonna eat them.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, technically I can be persuasive.
You can certainly try. Doesn't hurt to try.
And I do have charisma. I'm actually very good at charisma. Even though I'm dumb as shit. But
you're very pretty, is what I'm hearing. You're not dumb. You're just very pretty.
Okay. Maybe I will try to charm them and convince them. but I'm not doing anything suspicious.
How would you like to do that? Do you want to maybe do like charisma and persuasion and like try and convince her that you're there to help her, despite what
Yes,
you're
yeah.
about to do?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
go ahead
bloodletting,
and
right?
do-
You know, bloodletting. Wink. There's a thing
Oh
they
my
did back
gosh.
in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
Yeah, it's a very, very tiny spoiler for Nosferatu if anyone hasn't seen it, but not a story spoiler. They mentioned several times that someone has too much blood. So they're just like, you have too much blood, clearly.
Yeah.
Let me help you with that.
You have too much. I can help you with that.
So
Also,
Okay.
I'm not sponsored by the people who made Nosferatu, but go watch it. Really good.
So I'm gonna cut in and notice that we are short 2 people,
Mhm.
as much as I try to act like I don't care. So I kind of turn to Jason and turn around and kind of motion that we've lost a couple.
So you turn to talk to Jason, and you realize he's a ways ahead of you. He's also just kind of fucked off. Like you can still see him, but now the party is essentially split in 3 ways, with Antonio and Cassian either in or just outside of the alleyway, yourself in the middle of the street, and then Jason further down.
So I go to try to find these 2.
Oh, I mean, you can see Antonio very easily, and if you head over towards where he is, I mean, he's just standing outside of this alley, which is a little strange, given that you know that you're there for a specific reason. And
Yeah.
so as you go over, you see, oh, there's Cassian again.
So I look at both of them and I'm like, what are you 2 doing?
Cassian just kind of freezes again. Freezes. And turns their head and says, I'm a little peckish.
So what you mean to tell me is that you're trying. Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
We're making new friends.
You're not being very good at it.
Well, I'm not the one leading the charge. They have to learn.
At this rate, they'll starve.
Cassian, please roll me wits and awareness.
Wits and awareness. Okay.
Sounds very confident.
I love this character. They're so dumb.
Pretty. They're so pretty.
They're so pretty.
Actually, didn't you take the beautiful merit?
I believe I did. Yeah.
Pretty sure you did, yeah.
Stunning. I'm stunning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
stunning.
So that's not just a 2-dot merit, that's a 4-dot merit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of investment. You are absolutely gorgeous, but
So
yeah, that's
talking.
beyond that, you know.
listen, you can't be
Dumber
pretty
than a
and
bag of
smart.
rocks crushed by a bag of
That's
Oh, I didn't catch
That's-
what either of you said. Chad, what did you say?
Said dumber than a bag of rocks crushed by a bag of hammers.
Kill.
But easy on the eyes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I was like, you can't be pretty and smart, apparently, these days.
I was gonna say it depends on who you ask.
Oh, I know, but that's what they always say. You can't be pretty and smart. You have to choose one. You can't just say some for other people.
My
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
There it is.
So
Cassian definitely is our Thembo.
yeah.
Okay, I got it. I got the freaking dice to work.
Speaking of,
Okay, now I got it. Okay. Oh. 0 success.
okay. So, Demetrian, you are focused on Cassian and whatever they're doing. As they are, again, literally the deer in the headlights, like eyes bulged, just frozen in place. And Cassian, you realize your friend isn't there anymore.
The The woman?
The girl isn't there. Yeah.
Okay.
She bolted.
Well,
Can you
they're
blame her?
gone.
3 people showed up and started talking about being hungry. You know, it's a little uncomfy.
Yeah. Cassian, you were really going to. I just helped that person get away. What?
Sorry, when I get hungry, I get angry, and I get driven.
Angry? Is that what that was? Where?
No.
Come on, we have to. I can't believe I'm doing this. We have to go.
This is going to
We
be
have
the
to-
best coterie.
All right.
I guess I have to collect both of you.
Off we go
Very
then.
well.
Off we go.
You, other bard, you could stay behind Cassian. I'll take that.
If you wish.
I'm being
I'm just
very
now
sad.
picturing-
This is amazing.
Yeah, I'm just now picturing Antonio as Wesley from Princess Bride.
Well,
As you wish.
not a bad idea.
Yeah, he wasn't before, but now he is. Amazing. Yeah, so you would know this this little sidebar, whatever, attempted feeding, failed feeding, has eaten up a little bit of your time. It's getting pretty close to the time that you're supposed to be meeting with this mysterious potential patron.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did just keep going ahead. And you said it's a kind of the shady part of town, right? On this side?
Not shady. It's just more the working class. Like things are a little more plain, a little more practical.
Okay. On the way, I do keep my eye down alleys, trying to find possibly some kind of thug or something standing in the alleys. To get rid of my hunger.
Yeah. Give me a wits and awareness roll.
Wits and awareness. No, not highlight.
Gotta love when Demiplane cooperates.
Mhm.
It's really great.
That
when
was-
it does, I promise.
That one was actually on me. I was trying to scroll down, but was just barely off of it, so it just started highlighting things on the page.
Classic.
And bada bing, bada boom. Let's find out what I got. 1 success.
You know, you see some people, but no one is by themselves. Everyone seems to be kind of aware of, even though there's not a lot to steal necessarily on this side of the river. Sometimes people are a little more desperate when they don't have as much. And so people take a little more precaution. The people who clearly live in this area don't travel alone.
Well, I just mean like any thugs, like because
Yeah.
I have alley cat, so my main target's criminals.
Sure. Yeah, you don't really see anybody who seems to be a good target for you currently.
Okay. I'll just keep going.
Yeah. The rest of you, Jason has just absolutely fucked right off. You can no longer see him. But you know more or less where you need to go.
At the moment, ain't my circus, ain't my monkeys. So
Yeah.
I mean, good
Yeah.
riddance. How very unstylish. Did you see that armor?
listen, it's practical. All right.
No, practicality only goes so far.
I love that this was like probably the conversation while you were walking before the thief.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 3 of you, are you headed on to your destination now that you're a little bit pressed for time?
Yes. I've
Okay.
wrangled them. I kind of grabbed Cassian by the shirt
It's exactly what I was picturing.
and
I'm just going
Am-
along.
and am basically dragging them along. I peeped that all the carriages, they all came out of the same carriages, so we must be here for the same reason.
and
So
again, I mean, it was Cassian Sire who sent you the invitation, at least the one that was signed.
yeah.
So you can assume that they are pretty well aware. The other two, you're making a bit of a wild guess, but Cassian, you're pretty confident.
Yeah, so I'm taking this one along, and the other one, the other bard, can just follow.
Amazing. So, Jason, you make it to the ferry that would lead you across the river. Currently, it is coming back from the Buddha side, and you're having to wait. The rest of you, you make your way. As you arrive at the ferry, you see that enough time has passed. Jason is on the ferry. They are about to take off.
Mm. Okay, so we gotta run.
Yeah.
Looks like we gotta run. Let's go.
It's the Buckleberry Ferry. You're just little hobbits running to try and catch the ferry.
And then a shit ton of ravens just coming to roost on there.
So you don't think your ravens could give us a lift collectively?
No, I don't think they're capable. They're a little small.
Yeah. They're obviously the European, not the African.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
So you barely managed to catch this ferry. You can tell that probably the ferry person saw you running. Maybe even Cassian, since you can see better in the dark, you can see that they kind of roll their eyes. And they're like pushing a little bit, but you can tell they're not putting a lot of effort into it. So you managed to like get on in just enough time. All of you are on board the ferry. You are able to make it to the other side fairly easily. There's not a whole lot you have to do at that point. As you make it to the Pesht side, as I mentioned, this side of the river is much nicer. You can see not far off is the castle district where you are headed. And before we get there, I wanted to ask, because I forgot to ask before we got into all this, there are a number of languages that would be spoken in this region. Not all of you may speak all of the same languages. Obviously, there's some common tongue. Probably all of you, I would assume, speak Romanian. But there's also Hungarian, Baltic, German, and of course, a number of others. Any of you who have higher intelligence, would you speak any of these other languages? Yeah, we know it's not you, Cassian.
I think you get the 2 base languages, right?
Yeah.
I have 3
Except for-
intelligence.
Yeah, so you would at least know one other language.
I
Okay.
speak bird.
Speaking of birds, we wouldn't all be here if it wasn't for our lovely indie bird. So thank you so much, Julia, for everything you do.
Yee.
Indeed.
Very true.
But yeah, Dimitrian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's also Slavonic. I forgot about that one. What other language would you probably speak?
Excuse me.
I
Could even be like Latin. Latin would still be maybe not common, but known.
Yeah, I think my ridiculous self, I apparently, because my character is from that weird area between France and Spain.
Yeah.
And they're half French and half Spanish. Yeah.
An unfortunate mix.
Yeah.
I say, as a person who IRL is very much French and German, great combination. They love each other so much.
But yeah, so I guess Latin,
Okay.
literally for the fun of it.
You could also speak Spanish, but
I do speak.
know.
I mean, that's my natural tongue.
so you would probably then have your second language as Romanian, I would assume.
Okay.
If your preferred is Spanish, and continental Spanish is so weird. I'm always thrown off whenever I hear it because of the different pronunciation. I'm like, oh, that feels wrong.
Yeah,
Feels
it's weird.
so wrong. What about Antonio and Jason?
Greek and Roman for Jason. Not Roman,
Okay.
Romanian, sorry.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Let's see. Romanian. Latin. I think you said Hungarian was an option.
It is an option, yeah.
I'll do Hungarian.
Technically you are in Hungary right now, so makes sense.
Yeah.
I ask because as you are making your way into the Buddha side towards the castle district, you all see a man who doesn't quite approach, but clearly is calling out to you. A man who you notice no one else seems to be really paying a lot of attention to. Everyone else seems to just kind of avoid eye contact, steer clear of this person, and initially, you're not sure what he's saying. You don't understand the language that he is speaking. He then switches languages. He tries Latin. In Latin, for those of you who speak Latin. I guess no one does, actually. Just kidding. So switches to, you would probably recognize Latin because it is, the core of those Romance languages, which includes Romanian.
Latin.
Oh, did you take Latin? My bad.
Romanian, Latin, and Hungarian.
Thank you. Words are hard.
Yeah.
Antonio, you recognize. No one else is really sure what he's saying. Maybe you could make out some words because, again, those Romance languages are based on Latin. He says, "Stand, O children, whose shoulders bear the burden of redemption." And then does start to approach you if you even look in his general direction.
I would look up at him when I understand what he's saying.
Yeah. As soon as any of you shows any sign of recognition, he says, "Long have my eyes sought beyond to that which has been and will be. He rises, and all must be ready. Soon you shall meet with one whose plans will lead you into the heart of terror and exultation. Rejoice, for you shall witness all. You play a grand part in what comes. Aha, the sweetheart's blood. Let it wash away the sin. 8 signs of the coming nights shine within my vision. I see you within each. Though nothing is ever prevented, yet it may be transformed by the actions of a few. Go now, my children, and remember my words. When the pattering is asked of you, Zola lies, flee his visions. Prosper, and we shall meet again." Antonio, you're the only one who understands. You can tell the others probably are very confused.
I call it blood.
Yeah.
I just kept hearing children. That's the only one I got. It was children. Children. I'm like, no?
Cassian is just confused and looking everywhere but at this person.
So, just Cassian all the time. So, Antonio, do you react in any way? Do you respond?
I do respond. I say, "You speak very beautifully, but I don't know this work you recite."
Oh,
I'm assuming it's like Antonio's assuming it's a play and he's performing.
'Tis no recitation, my friend. It's a vision that I have seen of the coming days.
Which days?
All of them. I have seen all.
The first and the last?
The coming days. Not the past.
So maybe the last. That's the one I'm interested in.
He doesn't really seem to respond to that. But you hear he kind of mumbles about Kupala, which is a name that would probably be familiar enough to all of you. You would have heard of this deity, who's also sometimes seen as a demon, depending on who you ask. And you hear something about Gehenna, which again, it's one of those words that probably, even if you don't speak the language, Cassian, maybe not, who knows. But even if you don't speak the language, Gehenna is one that stands out a little bit, especially because that is like a biblical term. Even if you're not Christian, in this day and age, Christianity is decently well spread throughout Europe. A lot of Eastern Europe is very Catholic, very Orthodox. So even if you are not practicing, even if you are not a part of it or around people who are, you would have at least heard some of these terms. And then Kupala is not obviously a Christian thing. It is more of a local deity.
Something about 10 and blood and I don't know. Old deities, old religious stuff, 10 of them. What are we talking about here?
Do you translate, Antonio? Or give a summary at least?
I ask, can you recite or explain in another tongue? My companions may not understand you fully.
So he then begins speaking in Greek and recites the same thing. So, Jason, you get it this time. No one else does. Do you in any way react whenever he starts speaking in Greek?
I have a question. Simply
Okay.
because I, as a player, recognize the word,
Mm-hmm.
would my character recognize Gehenna and the importance of it?
Yes. Yeah. That, like I said, all of you, Cassian's maybe a little iffy on it, but all of you would recognize the term Gehenna. That is a common enough one, even if you don't speak the language, that you would know that's not a great thing. It's not something that most people are like excited about.
Okay.
And just for anyone who's not familiar, Gehenna means the end of the world in Vampire the Masquerade. It means the end of all things, the destruction of all life. It's a massive war between humans and supernaturals, and yeah, it's not a fun time.
That would perk his ears up a little bit, but he would just keep it, like, he would make a mental note of what he's saying, but he wouldn't really react too much, because it could also just be ravings of a madman kind of situation.
Sure. Yeah, there's no way of knowing. So with no one really responding to the Greek, he switches to German, which you can tell he's a little bit struggling with. Doesn't seem like he's a very fluent German speaker. And with none of you responding to that, really, he switches to Romanian, and you can tell he does not speak a lot of Romanian. You can tell you picked up about as much as you would have from the Latin.
I'm lost. Are you lost? I say, turning to Cassian. You're always lost.
I am always lost. What are they saying?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying. It's very broken, but it sounds not fun.
So, Antonio, would you ask? Because, like I said, all of you would at least recognize, even if you don't know a lot about them, you would at least recognize the name Kupala.
I suppose in Romanian, since that's the last one he said, that's what he spoke. I'll ask if I can. I'm not sure we understand completely. Can you give us some sign that what you say is anywhere near true?
He just seems to be thinking. Like you see, he just kind of looks off in the distance and doesn't respond for a beat or two, almost like an uncomfortable amount of time, and then points to all of you, just kind of like moves his hand towards all of you, and in Latin, so Antonio, starts to intone the prayer for the dead. And you hear people nearby starting to pay attention.
As that happens, like Jane's like, guys, we are since we are technically out together, we are on a time limit.
True.
Yeah. The people who are paying attention seem to be all eyeing you very suspiciously. And you see people starting to pick up torches.
I'm gonna dip the fuck out. I've literally like seen all this. I'm just gonna start backing up and just kind of start heading back to the way we were going to our destination.
I grab Cassian and I put them behind me.
I move towards the man and persuade him to just be silent for a moment.
Okay. How would you go about that? Would you be going for maybe charisma and persuasion, or would you be going like manipulation and intimidation?
Maybe charisma. Maybe with a smile. Be like, maybe we do not.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me charisma plus persuasion.
Charisma plus persuasion.
Hopefully this goes better than some of our other persuasion rolls. I mean, that or, we could have our first combat. I'm fine with that.
I'm ready for combat.
So are they.
I mean, fair, but these are just humans, right?
Humans with fire.
Mm-hmm.
And all of you would know, Kindred are extremely afraid and weak against fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say they're flammable.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to get cremated?
No.
So Antonio, how was that roll?
Sorry, I had to reset it. Give me one
second.
Yeah. I clicked the wrong thing, so I had to start again.
Been there.
I feel that.
5 successes.
Hey.
Nice.
What do you say to him?
I say, well, this is an interesting conversation. Maybe we should not have it right here or right now.
He ponders again for a moment and turns towards this crowd and starts shouting to them in Romanian, which, again, you know that he's not very fluent in Romanian. And they are still very upset, the crowd that was gathering. But they seem to be at least listening to what he's saying. They aren't necessarily coming directly after you right now, so you have a moment.
I think I will take Jason's lead and just move away from the man and the situation.
Yeah.
Just slowly back away.
Yeah. So while it does seem like you were able to persuade him somewhat. You also think that he's maybe not fully convinced. These visions that he talks about seem to be very much a strong conviction that he has. He believes intently in them, whether they're true or not. He believes very strongly that they are true. And he seems to be preaching to them, and you all have just long enough to duck out of sight before you hear he yells, "Agents of evil, after them," in Latin. So, only one of you understands. And you hear, all of you clearly, the yells, these fervent screams as people start searching for the four of you.
Oh, no. Antonio, what the hell did you get us into?
This is why you don't interact with the people yelling on the sides of streets.
I'll tell you
Never
over
goes
the
well.
table, he got you out of it. So,
Okay, but you talked to the guy.
So we need to find a way to get to where we're going still.
it's true. Does anybody have Streetwise?
Oh,
I do.
this might be
Yeah.
something I have.
Streetwise.
Either one of you or both could roll Wits and Streetwise.
Wits and
No wits.
streetwise.
No.
Yep.
No,
Well,
I
you
did
gotta have some
survival.
wits. You can't have no wits. You'd be dead then.
I have 2 wits.
I have a lot of wits, but no streetwise.
No, Streetwise.
I took survival instead of streetwise.
I
I
have
have-
you roll survival.
I have performance, intimidation.
I mean, the intimidation could be helpful. Not in finding anything, but in, maybe trying to convince them to go somewhere else, trying to convince them you're someone else. But
Could I
hopefully
also
they
use
won't
my-
find you.
My stunning.
What's that?
Could I also use my stunning?
Not in this circumstance. Being pretty
I
does
can
not
use
help
my-
you find the way when there's a mob after you.
I could use my innocence. I literally have a
No.
merit that I just look permanently innocent.
In this
Oh.
circumstance, that also would not apply because you are just relying on your own intuition and.
Oh no, I mean if the mob comes across. It's
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing. But with my
Um,
streetwise and wits, I got 2 successes.
Okay.
And I
Alana?
also got 2.
Okay. You do seem to get turned around a little bit. It probably takes you longer than you would like, but I think some of that is because as you're darting from dark alley to dark alley, you occasionally have to stop because as you are about to step out, you hear a group of people yelling as they come around the corner, and you're just ducking back into the shadows until they pass by, and then you're able to continue on. Eventually, you do make it to the market on the Buddha side, where the stockades are, which is where you all were asked to meet. Initially, you don't see anyone there. But after a moment, you see someone who looks very similar to the messengers before, but even a little more well-dressed. Walks up to you and bows and says, "I'm here to escort you."
Yes, please, let us leave.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
And leads you into the alleyway. Are all of you following?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cass is following no matter what because I'm grabbing him.
I'd still be keeping an eye out for the mob.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So as he starts to walk into this alleyway, you see that he grabs something. You can't quite tell what it is. It's almost like a hidden lever or handle of some sort. And a door opens. And you can see that there is light inside and sound. It sounds very much safe and not a place that you have to worry about the mob.
Yes.
Awesome.
Good.
As you
Jeez.
all head inside, he does lock the door behind you, leads you down a set of stone stairways that twist and wind. As you continue down, it is crumbling in places. Let's see. Most of you who cannot see in the dark are probably stumbling, occasionally even like skipping a step and having to catch yourself. Cassian, you're fine. You're good. You can take your time and step in all the right places.
Skipping along.
Yeah, you're also kind of behind everyone probably, so also watching them fall over themselves.
Occasionally giggling.
Yeah, but this person
Yeah.
leading you does not seem to have any issue. And Cassian, as you can see them very well, you can tell they're walking very confidently, like they can see. And at the bottom, he leads you through a series of tunnels. It is very confusing. You're not really sure where you are at this point. You have made so many turns that it would be practically impossible, not entirely, but practically impossible for you to remember how to get back. And as you continue along, these tunnels begin to get smaller. There is a torch ahead, and it flickers almost as if there's a wind about to blow it out at any moment. And when you finally arrive at this door at the end of the hallway, he knocks twice and then opens it. Inside is a small room filled with people, and he stands back to allow you to enter. And assuming you all do,
Yes.
Yeah.
as you do, he follows you inside and also locks that door. Oh, sorry, he does not follow you inside. He closes the door and locks it while he's still outside.
The other side.
Oh, crap. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, there are a lot of people in here, or you assume that they're kindred, probably, given the message that you received. But it is fairly dim. Let's see. So there are some heavy chairs. There's a stone sarcophagus in one corner, and 3 torches that light the room, but not so much that you can see all the details super well. You can see that the firelight plays on these pale faces. As, again, you're pretty certain these are kindred. They're in some of these seats. The sires of those of you who know your sires seem to be seated and waiting. And I think probably Isabella looks to Demetrian and Cassian and just says, "You're late."
Yeah, you can blame your little one here for that.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Cassian is getting a little squirrely because they're deep in here and they're not comfortable with the fact that there's many doors between them and outside. And they're birds.
Get a hold of yourself.
As Isabel just sort of rolls her eyes, you do notice that there is one person, more or less, who is the center of attention after the 4 of you. Obviously, everyone sort of turns to see who just entered, and you all are able to see this man is average height, maybe taller than some of you, probably shorter than others. He has a fringe of brown hair, a very neat beard, and a square-jawed face. He looks very, very affluent. He's clearly the one who has summoned you all here. Jason, because you were the only one who really took the time to inspect the scroll, you notice that he has an emblem on his tunic that seems to be the same two-headed bird.
Okay.
And initially, he seems like maybe someone who is more interested in books, doesn't look overly strong or commanding just on sight. But as he speaks, you can tell he is extremely confident. He is someone who probably has had a lot of power for a very long time. And says, thank you all for coming. Glares at the four of you, who are obviously a little bit late. And basically starts to address the sires. Really isn't paying a whole lot of attention to the four of you right now. What would the four of you be doing while you have this moment to sort of talk amongst yourselves or talk amongst the kindred gathered? Because not everyone appears to be someone in a position of power.
Just kind of hovering until I think like finding out what's going to happen, like while we're here. Just kind of hovering around.
Okay.
This feels like a popularity contest to me, and I am not into it. So I'm sticking with the little weird one here.
I'd be listening intently and trying to gauge the reactions of both my sire and the person who is obviously the one who brought us here.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
go ahead.
Cassian is strangely still, and they're like 100% focused on their sire because they're afraid to move around their sire.
I like how you say strangely still when they've been very still multiple times, mostly from panic, but this time more intention.
They have a
I love
sassy
it.
expression
I
on their
was
face,
gonna
for
say,
sure.
actually, Jason be kind of like listening to the rest of the crowd, since seeing gauging what their reaction on what's going on is.
Yeah. Give me a wits and awareness roll, Jason.
What's an awareness?
Mhm.
Since I'm listening, can I use my specialty is listening for awareness?
Yeah, absolutely. So that would give you a bonus die. Gotta love a good specialty.
Demon, are you good? Are you having a seizure here? What's going on?
Like I said, when it's great, it's great. Sometimes it's a little wonky, but honestly, it's still one of my favorite. It's not really a VTT. I guess technically, but just platforms for games like this, I still like it better than most because some of them are really, really buggy.
Yeah.
I'm reloading the page real quick.
Yeah, no worries. Demetrian,
Right.
I think you would notice that Cassian is this time appearing a little bit less. Their eyes are not bulging out as they're standing still. So it's a little bit different than you're used to seeing them. Because almost every time you've seen them before this, it again was that deer in the headlights.
Yeah. Well, you're a little focused. What's going on with you?
I don't want to draw Isabella's attention.
Why wouldn't you look at her?
Why wouldn't I?
Well, more attention for me then.
Jason, what'd you get?
It just got working. Load. One success.
Okay. It's a little hard to tell. It seems like everyone is trying their best to not be overheard by anyone other than who they're directly talking to, other than obviously the person who summoned you all here. But you do manage to catch that this person's name is Gervais. You know that this is the child of a very powerful kindred named Mal, excuse me, Malgor, Malgorzata. You can also hear that Gervais is very, very loyal to his sire. You can assume probably has a lot of power and influence because of the importance of his sire. Yeah, and then the rest of you who are trying to listen to the actual main conversation over here, that the Tremere, which you would know to be one of the clans of Kindred, have identified the Tehuta Pass as a powerful magical node. And Tremere are very well known, especially because they're a relatively new clan. This is not necessarily stuff that your characters would know, but over the table, just because I think it's some fun lore, the Tremere actually were humans who did not get bitten. They were not embraced by another kindred. The original Tremere kindred was a powerful mage who learned how to make himself and I think 8 of his followers immortal. They became kindred. So these are very, very magically attuned kindred, and relatively new within the last, I believe, 100 years even. So they have acquired a lot of power, and the Tremere are one of the 2 main factions who are fighting for control of Transylvania. You would know this pass to be a pass within Transylvania, and the Tremere are talking to your sires about needing to establish a base of power in this pass, that they are wanting to build a fortification, and they want the childer of these sires, the 4 of you, and probably some other kindred as well, who are being offered this opportunity to not only go to build it, but to maintain it and to rule over this in their stead. When they are there, you don't really get a say. While the Tremere are not there, you have your own territory. Do with that what you will. You have a few moments before the sirens will speak to the 4 of you.
Territory. That means I have to lead anything. I don't want to lead anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Not really
I'm not
my
exactly
thing.
not exactly the leader type here.
I mean, if I'm in control, that means nobody's going to lead me.
Antonio, you've been quiet.
Just contemplating what I could do in such a situation.
Unlimited power.
You know, the thought is a little enticing, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. What do you think, Cassian?
My brain keeps going to the forest, and somewhere there, let's controlling this area.
Your
You
kingdom
would
of
know.
birds.
You would know near the pass there are a lot of forested areas that you would be able to traverse in your free time.
Maybe there is something to this.
You'll have more than just your kingdom of birds.
That's true.
Well, sounds like we're still a little iffy.
Yeah.
So, as you all have been discussing this, the sires walk over. Isabella, especially, addresses the four of you and says, "We've discussed, and as was said in the letter that was sent to you, we've already agreed on your behalf. So it would behoove you to take this offer. Of course, we can't make you, but the consequences might be undesirable if you were to deny it."
Who could deny such an opportunity?
I'm just trying to find out who are you to agree in my behalf. Are you taking me in?
So
taking responsibility?
Oh, responsibility, no. Watching over.
Okay, mommy.
She just grins. A very evil grin.
Cassian just nods and says, "As you wish."
Oops, all Wesley's.
As you wish.
Very, very begrudgingly, though.
Is everyone in agreement?
Well, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, I know you were a little on the fence.
I just kind of glanced at my sire with a questioning look of, does that align with goals?
So just sort of an eyebrow raise, maybe? And a
Yeah.
little bit of a head tilt? Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron just winks. A very knowing wink. Seemingly confirming.
Okay. Then I'm like, all right, I guess. Sounds fun.
You sound so into this. I love it. And with that, as you have agreed to take on this task, the sires return to their small group with this representative, and he comes over to the four of you after conferring with them and says, "A coach will await you tomorrow night. Please leave right away. Do not dally."
But can I dilly?
He narrows his eyes, and you can almost feel the tension in the air.
Okay.
Cassian gently holding to follow them.
Cassian's eyes are bigger than they've ever been.
Okay.
And as you have agreed and been thoroughly scolded with the eyes of of this more powerful kindred, you are led to chambers where the four of you can sleep throughout the day. Is there anything that you would want to do? Anyone you want to speak to? Any sires you want to have a maybe private conversation with before you go to sleep?
Oh no.
One's trying to feed.
So, the issue with that, you do not have any way of getting out of here because you know that there is absolutely no way you would be able to make your way through the maze of corridors with any kind of confidence. You could certainly try. I would not recommend it.
Yeah,
They,
just Huh?
So sad
they don't keep any
about.
human livestock down here.
It doesn't seem like they really cared to take care of that.
Should have eaten when we got the chance.
Yeah, well, shouldn't have flubbed it. Or gone after the person I saved. How dare you? The amount of people there were around?
I was hungry.
Technically, they were in an alley with just her.
No, but like in the
Yeah.
main road.
Yeah.
Cassian is going to be pacing back and forth because they're hungry and without their bird friends. Not having a good time.
Anyone else doing anything before you go to sleep?
If I am not required by my sire, then I will sleep.
Excellent. As you all awaken the next evening, please, each of you, give me another rouse check. Let's see how hungry you are tonight.
Wait, where did you go, rouse check?
Yeah, it should be at the top of your character sheet.
Yay!
that was an option.
I failed.
Oh no, you're at 3 hunger.
So am I.
1 success.
Okay.
Yay!
Antonio,
Oh,
you're still at 2 hunger. You do not get any hungrier.
Yeah. Still 0.
Okay. Most of you are really feeling it. At this point, you could go on for a while still without eating, but your sires have all warned you. Well, Demetrian, your sire hasn't warned you.
No.
Probably other kindred who you may now start to suspect were probably planted by Isabella to keep an eye on you and kind of give you a little bit of pointers here and there. Have mentioned that if you let your hunger go too long, you can go into frenzy, where you become fully the beast that is inside of you. The monster that you truly are is unleashed, and you become mine to play with, and not your own characters for a brief moment.
Yeah.
So, as you all awaken, mostly very hungry, the same person who led you here knocks twice on the door before opening it and says, "Shall we?"
Let us.
Yeah,
As long as I can get something to eat at some point. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
exactly.
I suppose that could be arranged. And leads you all back through the maze of tunnels. Again, there is absolutely no hesitation. This person does not seem to have any issue navigating, and leads you back up the crumbling steps to the streets. It is the next day. There is no angry mob at this point. But you do know you're probably not well liked in Buddha. Probably people watching for you. The 4 of you do stand out a little bit. You don't necessarily blend in super well with the average. Maybe on the Buddha side better than you did on Pest, but still you do draw a little bit of attention. But as you make your way out, there is a carriage. Is much larger, it is clearly fancier, but it is not like gilded. This is fancy in the way of, you can tell it is extremely finely crafted. Someone spent a lot of money, a lot of time and effort on this, but it is not ostentatious. It is not obviously like gaudy or going to stand out. And you are gestured into the carriage.
How long is this trip going to take? I asked the guy that's ushering us to it.
Oh, a few weeks.
Few weeks.
Can we please have food?
It's been taken care of. Please,
Okay.
we need to leave.
Then off we go.
Yep.
Let's get in.
As
Come
you
on,
all-
Cassian.
As you all step in, you see that there are 4 seemingly humans who they're not passed out. They're not like mind controlled in any way, but you can tell they may not know what you are, but they're there as food.
I'm dying.
I mean, they sure look like they're dying.
One of them, Cassian, does look very pale. Not pale in a kindred sense. Pale as in unwell. Maybe even a little feverish.
I'll
I
take
sit
the
right
pretty
next
one.
to him.
Jason and
Huh?
what are the 2 of you doing?
I mean, I'm guessing none of them look like they would be technically a criminal, would they?
Doesn't look like it as far as you can tell, but it's hard to tell the true nature of anyone just from sitting inside a carriage. Do you have a pre-exclusion?
Yes, not pre-exclusion, but
Okay.
the preference is definitely for criminals.
Yeah, at least because it's not a pre-exclusion, you can still feed on them. It's just a preference at that point. But
I think I have some. 1 second. I do have 2 feeding merits. Let me double check what it was before.
Yeah. While you're checking that, Antonio, what are you doing?
I was going to wait until everyone else picked theirs and take whichever one was left.
Okay.
Oh, vessel recognition is the one I had.
So
yeah, I could just feed off one of them then. Yeah.
I will say you do, with your vessel recognition, know that these are people who have been fed on before.
Okay.
But sensing the trepidation or hesitancy, I guess, before you actually like sit down and even attempt to feed, the driver says, "It's okay. They've agreed to this."
Yeah.
The consent is a little dubious because these people are probably going to die, considering in order to completely slake your hunger, you do have to kill. In order to go to 0 hunger, you have to take a life.
I'd only go down to 1 hunger.
Okay.
Nah, I don't mind taking life.
Only if it's necessary.
Cassian, what'd you say?
I'm thinking. They're about to
What about
die
Antonio?
anyway.
Well, the pretty one's gonna have a little bit of a fun time before, they die.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If clothes come up, I'm going on the roof.
Antonio, what about you?
I think I'll go down to 1.
Okay. So 2 of these humans are very out of it. They've been partially eaten, but they're still alive. All of them, you all have fed before. This is nothing new to you. But for those of us at home who may have not seen this before, these humans experience the greatest pleasure that they have ever experienced. It is like an orgasm, but 10 times more intense and much longer lasting as you feed on them. And the 2 who are left alive just sort of slump unconscious. The other 2 are no longer with us. And as your carriage passes through the countryside, you're able to if you would so choose, unceremoniously just kick them from the carriage, or you could take a little more care and try to dispose of them.
I would take him off into the woods and
Yeah.
just kind of
Cass-
throw
I'll
him
take the care.
Cassian would care about.
I mean, two of you are the ones who killed them. So, Jason, if you wanted to, if somebody wasn't going to, you could always try to convince them.
I'd offer it.
Yeah,
I'm just as courtesy, since we are now working together.
absolutely. So,
No, I've got mine.
Cassian would want to, because they respect life and death and all that. So they give words to each victim as they put them in the ground.
any particular words?
They thank them, so they say thank you, and you're no longer suffering as part of what they say as well, because when in the sickness.
Yeah, clearly you put this person probably out of their misery. They might be the only one who truly was okay with it.
Mhm.
Everyone
And
else. Okay.
Yeah, they respect them for that and appreciate it. So they care about where the person goes, and that they actually get some kind of proper burial of some kind.
Yeah, the others, I mean, they did consent, but you can assume that there was probably a little bit of convincing or maybe lack of knowledge of what was actually going to happen. But sometimes that is the way of Kindred. You are
Sister
monsters.
nature.
You are not good people. So as you continue along, it is a few more days. Would the two of you who did not kill continue to feed on your humans, or would you just sort of let them be?
I mean, I'd let them rest. I'd probably take if depending on how it is throughout the week, give them time to rest, because it's not healthy to take too much blood in a couple of days.
Sure. Antonio, what about you?
I would try to resist if I could for a while.
Yeah, and you all fed pretty heartily, even if you didn't take a life. You're feeling a lot better than you have. You hadn't necessarily eaten in a few days before that, and so you travel along, and one night as you awaken, you do notice the two humans are gone.
What happened to them?
Either they were taken by the driver or they ran away.
Well, if they ran away, that's not good for us.
No, it's not.
They could tell people things.
It's true.
And they know
But they-
my face.
But maybe they'll just believe their scary stories instead of actually.
Listen, I already have a reputation.
I mean, we didn't leave no marks, did we?
People already don't like me in certain places for the things that I've done with somebody's wife. Long story, I'm not getting into it right now. But I don't need that. Plus, and you're actually a monster that sucked on blood and completely drained another person after doing fun things.
Like I said, I mean, we didn't leave any marks, and they would probably just sound like crazy maniacs. Because how many days into this is this?
We'll say like 3 or 4.
3 or 4? Yeah. We're going to be long gone by the time anyone comes back out here.
Okay, but you don't understand. I am a bard. I go to places where there are people and they see me.
What?
They literally come for me.
I bet they do.
Mm-hmm.
In many ways.
I mean,
Would we be able
there's
to
no
track
way
them
of
down?
telling when they left. I mean, we probably could track them down.
Why don't
Yeah.
we ask the driver?
Yes. That's a good idea.
Fair.
We might know
Why am I
something.
the only one that thought of this?
Because
Just
I'm me.
woke up.
So, as you get out, Demetrian, you see that the driver seems to be asleep.
Oh God!
Oh no.
Can I flick him a little
Yeah.
bit? Try to wake him.
Yeah, you do, and it takes a couple of flicks, and he bolts up. Says, "Oh no! Oh no!
Hey, our people, our humans. Do you know what happened?
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please don't tell anyone
Don't tell anyone what.
that I fell asleep. That I neglected my duty. The things they would do to me, you don't even know.
The things I would do to you.
Please don't hurt me.
Why? How did you fall asleep? What happened?
Well, I have to sleep sometime, and I guess I just this long on the road. I don't know. I don't know. It's never happened like this before, and I've made too many mistakes, and just looks absolutely terrified, kind of like Cassian, but a little more intense.
Okay. And you didn't hear anything? Did you hear them get off? Did you hear anything, see anything before you dozed off?
No. And at this point, he is like on the ground, on his knees, like at your feet, begging.
Get up.
Please don't tell anyone.
When was the last town? Are we close to a town that they might have run to?
It's possible. We're a ways in either direction from civilization. Raven, what were you
But-
going to say? You started to say something.
Huh?
Oh, you started to say something, I thought.
I was gonna say, Jason would step out and just kind of start doing a scan, see if it was them running away, or because the way he's acting, like he just kind of fell asleep out of nowhere. So I was gonna start looking around.
Yeah, give me wits and survival roll, please. And Valencia, were you going to say something else?
A ways away from either way, like that doesn't help.
You're pretty sure that he means that you're roughly halfway between two places.
Two places, yeah. What shall we? Well, I mean, we gotta make it through. We gotta make it all the way to our destination. And I don't know. Can we afford to stop and search?
I have a thought. Can I ask my ravens if they saw anything?
You know, I was thinking just that.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
I would say give me charisma and persuasion plus your or actually no, sorry, not persuasion. Give me charisma plus animal kin.
All right.
I got one success.
Okay.
Okay.
You're really not sure. You have a rough idea.
Wait.
Sort of a west direction.
Weast.
So are we talking about northeast or southeast?
You know, sort of a
Sorthweast.
yeah. I like that. It's all the directions.
Demiplane hates me. Demiplane really hates me. 3 successes.
3 successes? Okay.
Yeah.
So the ravens had been acting a little strange. You've only been up for a little bit. What?
8 dice.
Hey, that's still 3 successes is decent. Even if it is 3 out of 8. It happens. So the ravens were acting a little strange. Like I said, you've only been up for a little bit, so you haven't had a lot of time to really pay attention, especially noticing these people were gone. You've kind of been distracted. But as you are talking to them using your animalism, the rest of you, it looks like Cassian is just like making bird noises. And it sounds like they're just saying nonsense. Like, as we've mentioned before, like a mad person, just like someone who thinks that they can talk to animals. But you do notice, even if you can't understand what's being said, the ravens are responding.
Mm-hmm. I've seen this before.
Yeah. And Cassian, they tell you that you're in danger, that there are people waiting in the woods.
Wonderful. There's people waiting in the woods.
There's people waiting in the woods. Jason, there's people waiting in the woods.
Yay.
And as you say that, Demetrian, an arrow thunks into the side of the carriage.
I'd say as soon as I heard there's people waiting in the woods, I would pop feral claws.
Okay. I believe that's a rouse check, correct?
I believe so. Let me double check.
What about everyone else?
Are we ready for a fight? Because
doesn't really matter.
We're forced into a fight.
It doesn't matter if we're ready. We're in one.
I know I'm ready. Are you ready? I've got these hands. I don't know what you've got.
I got some, I think, bow and arrow. That's about it. Maybe a sword.
I mean, yeah, you could easily have some sort of weaponry.
So I guess I'll get ready to fight.
Check.
Okay. Let me know what you got on that rouse check.
Indeed.
So is it just rouse?
What were you doing? I'm sorry.
I'm getting ready for a fight.
Oh, no, you do not have to make a rouse check. That is just for the feral claws that Jason is extending.
I got a success.
Nice. You do not get any hungrier, which is a good thing. So what are you doing to prepare for this fight, Demetrian?
What am I doing? I guess I'm just yelling into the forest for anybody to come out and face us like the men they are.
I mean, you assume they're all men.
The humans they are.
Yeah. Antonio, what about you?
I am traditionally a lover and not a fighter, but I will do what I can.
You'll do what you must.
Yes.
And Cassian, you look like you're pondering something.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do bow and arrow.
Isn't that firearms?
I mean, if you're trying to do an attack, then yeah, it would be dex and firearms.
Dex and firearms. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you can't quite see them. You just know that they're out there.
I'm just
even Cassian with your raven eyes in the dark.
So
they're pretty loud.
So it is. How dark is it right now?
Oh, it's nighttime. It's pretty dark. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Because I do have Eyes of the Beast as well.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. So even Jason, with your similar night vision, you do not see them. They're pretty well hidden.
I have Daunt.
You could certainly use that. That's a thing you could do.
All right, how do I use that?
Are there any large rocks nearby?
Probably, yeah.
One I could theoretically stab with the protein using strength and just kind of throw off into the trees to see if any kind of
No.
movement happens.
Not
No,
of
not
that
like
size.
not like large, but like smaller. Like think something that would make someone move if it was coming by fairly fast.
Yeah. I mean, like baseball or smaller. Yeah, probably.
Right, so
I want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
How do I-
you could also easily have like a bow and arrow or a crossbow.
I made my guy to be a physical fighter.
Mistake.
What? No, he's a gangrel. He has to.
Yeah, I'm just teasing.
Okay. So
Alright.
We all can't be
do
like-
I do my presence and intimidation for Daunt?
Yep, you sure do.
Okay, let me
I
roll.
will roll opposed.
Success 3.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. 1 second, because I am very professional and did not close my dice roller. Definitely did not.
Okay, so with Daunt,
It's an opposed dice roll, so I gotta try to beat you, and we'll see if that can happen. Let's see. It does not. So, you exude an aura of menace powerful enough to make most mortals avoid their attention, and even vampires think twice about acting against them. So, you hear another arrow kind of thud against the side, followed by a few more, and then Demetrian, what does your daunt look like? What does your kindred do to like exude this aura of menace?
so this is gonna be a little funny. All right, so I rip off my top and
Hot.
and I like slap my chest like this and my shoulders, and I kind of like get my arms ready, and I yell at them to come get some.
I approve.
I love it. I love it. And Alana, were you wanting to do something?
I'm just waiting because I don't really like getting in the thick of it. So I'm waiting for them to get within range so I can shoot them.
I mean, you can assume that they probably are within range. You just can't see them right now. They're pretty well hidden. And all of you can hear these like loud whispers. Not quite enough to tell what they're saying, but it sounds like they're discussing what to do. And you hear one voice that booms, "Kill them, you imbeciles!" And with
Can
that,
I get
So
direction?
I
from
re-
the session.
I respond with,
almost at
"You're
3.
welcome to try."
So, thank you all so much. I'm excited for more of this. I
Yeah.
cannot wait for next week to just continue some buffoonery.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So let's go around one more time since this is our first session, and some of you are new to this channel. I don't remember who we. I do remember who we ended with. Valencia, you want to start us off? Tell us who you are, where we can find you.
Hi. So I'm Valencia, Ultra Valencia here on Twitch. I stream my favorite games, streaming Metaphor Fantasio. I am also an author. My book's name is The Unreality of Being Forgotten, and that's under my pen name of Demeter Valencia Lopez. And you can find me basically everywhere as Diva with a Handgun.
Nice. I think it was Raven before that, maybe.
It was.
Yeah.
I am Raven Tree. I stream over here on Twitch. I do a lot of different games. But right now I'm stuck on Armored Core. I'm usually on late nights, so I hope I see y'all there.
Yeah, a lot of y'all stream way later than I'm really awake. Like I've been trying to stay to watch at least some of Jules' streams, and all that. But like Raven, I think you were on the other night. Like I happened to be awake. I'm like, oh my god, it is so late.
Yeah, I stream after I get off from work, because since I close at Walmart, unfortunately.
Walmart, we love it. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I apologize. I just realized I forgot to drop your link on there. So I will
No,
fix
you're
that on Nightbot. That was my bad. Anyway, Chad.
Chad 8472 everywhere. Professional lurker, unprofessional mod, eternal eventual streamer,
And you have a face.
and a face. I'm not just a voice.
I will
Or
eventually have a
this
face.
much up.
Mhm.
And last but not least, Alana.
Hello, I'm Alana, and I am also a dice maker. I make, or you can find me at Spectralcraft Dice on most handles, and spectralcraft.ca is where you can buy my dice. As well, I am an artist, and I also illustrate for Even Footing Games.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. Alrighty. So, anyway, I will see you all next time. And I'm going to do the thing.